please.
The best of times, live from 710 KEEL Studios in Shreveport, Louisiana, celebrating age and maturity, helping you make the best use of your life the best they can be. The best of times. Your host, Gary Calligas.
Good morning, Arctic listeners. I'm Gary Calligas, the publisher of The Best of Times, the only news magazine for mature adults in Northwest Louisiana. Thank you for tuning into our show today. Also thanking those who might be listening via the internet at www.710keel.com, as well as thanking those who might be listening via their Apple and Android devices via the Radio Pub app. In just a few minutes, we're going to learn some tips to better use your iPhone or your iPad that you might have got for Christmas or that you might have had for a few years. So stay tuned to the show for some very beneficial information for you or your loved ones. It is Saturday, January the 19th, and we are broadcasting our radio show from the studios of News Radio 710 KEEL, a town square media station here in Shreveport, Louisiana. However, today's show has been pre-recorded, so we will be unable to accept call-in questions and comments from our loyal radio listeners. Be sure to pick up the January issue of The Best of Times in one of our 522 distribution locations. Thank you for the many compliments about our magazine. We do appreciate hearing from you. If you're unable to find a copy, remember you can visit our website at www.thebestoftimesnews.com to view both current and past issues, as well as to listen to previously broadcast radio shows of the Best of Times Radio Hour. In addition, you can view and download the current copy of Silver Pages, our senior resource directory. Mark your calendars to attend a Fraud Watch seminar that will take place on Wednesday, February the 20th from 1:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Shreve Memorial Library's Broadmoor branch, located at 1212 Captain Street Drive in Shreveport. You will learn how to detect fraud and scams that are affecting seniors and movers and ways to avoid them. This is a free seminar and open to the public, and is sponsored and hosted by AERP Louisiana and The Best of Times. More information about this seminar will be found in the February issue of The Best of Times. Mark your calendars to attend the Caregiver Expo that will take place on Friday, March the 1st from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Louisiana State Exhibit Museum, located at 3015 Greenwood Road in Shreveport. This expo is free, open to the public, and is hosted and sponsored by AARP Louisiana and The Best of Times magazine. There will be educational presentations, exhibitors, and many door prizes. Also, we will debut the 2019 edition of Silver Pages Senior Research Directory at this expo, and you will be able to pick up the new and latest copy of the resource guide to benefit you and your caregivers. More information will be found, of course, in the February issue of The Best of Times. Speaking of Silver Pages, we are working on it right now, and it will again debut on March the 1st at our Caregiving Expo at the Louisiana State Exhibit Museum in Shreveport. If your business is interested in being part of the only senior resource directory for Northwest Louisiana, please call us at 318-636-5510. Again, that's 318-636-5510. We'll be right back with more information, but now a word from our sponsors and advertisers who make this radio show possible. You're listening to the Best of Times Radio Hour here on News Radio 710 KEEL, proudly presented by A-Bears 10 and Country at Shreveport, your Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, and Jeep dealer.
Gary's got more of the Best of Times coming for you on 710 KEEL.
Hey, this is Martin Grau with Office Furniture Source. Listen, this is a message for all the fat people. Do not sign up for a gym membership. You're wasting your money. Come to my store. I have fat people chairs. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're super comfortable. You won't even feel fat anymore. Your hips won't hurt. Your knees won't hurt. You feel like you've been working out, and you won't waste your money on a gym membership. 2218 East Texas Street, Bossier City. Listen, we are wrecking New Year's resolutions. Fat man chairs for cheap. Come and see us, 2218 East Texas Office Furniture Store.
Is your vehicle feeling a little crushed? Well, accidents happen, and when they do, remember the best, Westport Body Works.
They repair all foreign and domestic makes and models to pre-accident conditions, better than new, with an amazingly fast turnaround time. And they work with all insurance companies. Westport Body Works, your trusted collision repair facility, has been serving the architects for over 10 years. For the best, go west. Westport Body Works, just off Pines Road on Westport Avenue. Call them today or visit their website, westportbodyworks.com. A proud sponsor of the Rush Limbaugh Show.
If you own a business, you know how important effective communication is to the health and growth of that business. Your business's phone system plays a critical role in keeping your team in sync and making your customers feel well served and appreciated. Bluebird Voice is Shreveport-Bossier's only locally owned phone company, providing area businesses fast, reliable internet connections and modern voice over IP phone systems. Bluebird Voice will save you money every month, and it's time to find out how and how much. Call 318-918-1214 for a demonstration of Bluebird Voice today.
My life is like a browser with 25 open tabs. I have kind of a constantly plugged in thing. Any interruption could jeopardize the whole operation. So I got my internet service from AT&T because their customers rated their service #1 in reliability over cable. For $40 a month, I can get up to 100 megabits per second internet so I can stay up to date on the latest stuff going on in my world. It's soothing to know AT&T internet is rated #1 in reliability over cable. It helps me maintain my low stress thing.
AT&T Internet customers rank their service #1 in reliability over cable. Switch and get up to 100 megabits per second for $40 a month. Limited availability. May not be available in your area. Check eligibility at att.com/internet. AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing. New approved customers only. Includes internet plans 10 to 100 megabits per second. Early termination fee and other charges and restrictions apply. Speeds not guaranteed and may vary. Claim based on 2018 ACSI survey of customers rating their own internet provider's performance and reliability at speed and service consistency.
Now, back to the best of times with your host, Gary Calligas.
Welcome back to our show, The Best of Times Radio Hour, proudly presented by A-Bears, Town & Country of Shreveport, your Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, and Jeep dealer. I'm Gary Calligas, and thank you for listening to our show today. Joining me on my show as a special guest is Miss Liz Wyman, who is the author of 100-plus iPhone and iPad tricks that you can do right now, and also is the founder of the iWorkshop Academy. Thank you, Liz, for joining us today here on the Best of Times Radio Hour.
Hi, Gary. How are you?
Well, I just wanted to first tell you that your book is pretty remarkable. I've read it, and it's helped me. I've been an iPhone. I'm an old guy. I've been an iPhone user for many years after my son forced me from my flip phone to get an iPhone many years ago, and I've gone through all the stages. I think I have a 7 now. But your book is fantastic because I learned a lot of new things about this powerful instrument that we have here that is just mind-boggling.
That's wonderful. It does cause instant empowerment because of the way it's set up as tricks that you can just do right now. My concept was originally like Julia Child. At one time, French cooking was absolutely incomprehensible. You had to learn how to make sauces and a whole all the rules. But she simplified it and made recipes. And now with the step-by-step directions, you get instant empowerment.
And, that's the other thing is, I don't know about these Apple or whoever, these researchers over there, their scientists are developing all these apps and all these applications. I think we're in the 12th revision of their operating system? Holy moly.
Yes, iOS 12.
12.
True.
I don't think that's 12 years. It's probably longer than that. But that's amazing. But they must sit behind and says, what else are we going to add to this little contraption or big contraption, right?
It's really true, and everybody says, get an iPhone, they're so easy. You don't even need a book, but that's not true. Many of the apps are counterintuitive, and many screens will change year to year, which is very frustrating.
And, of course, they tell you, it's very easy. Just try it. If it doesn't work, you just keep going. Or as my son, the techie person says, just reboot, Dad. Just turn it off and reboot it if you do something that locks it up. And, that's the easiest fix of all. But interestingly enough, I was asking a few seniors that I deal with and mature people about, I'm telling you, Apple must be doing wonderful throughout the world because in my neck of the woods, everybody got either a new one or got a new one for their grandmother, their great-grandmother, their great-grandfather. But they don't use but only a few applications. And I mean, every time I visit some people, I ask them this lady, I was saying, so what apps do you use? She says, I just make telephone calls. I said,
that's true.
I said, ma'am, go ahead. That's true. That's all they use it for. I said, you've got a powerful instrument right there. They can do many other things that you probably, should use it for, right?
It's really true. And they used to say we only use 10% of our brain, which apparently has been debunked. But anyway, we definitely only use 10% of our iPhones. And that's not just seniors, even millennials and Gen Xers.
Oh, I'm going to pick on those.
Yeah, that's what this whole episode is about. I'm teasing. But yes, they're the ones who roll their eyes at us. And by the way, I'm a boomer. So they roll their eyes at the seniors and boomers. And a lot of people don't realize the amount of change that has happened in the last 11 years, which we'll talk about, that has absolutely cut seniors off from understanding. And the frustration and difficulty holds them back.
Well, I'm going to tell my listeners out there, my thousands of listeners in the Arclitex and also on the internet, and I'm also on this, apps that you can listen to, Radio Pub app and all that they can listen. That it's a very useful book, and it's very didactic. I like the way that you outline it. It's by tricks, and it's not, everything is succinct, so you move along from 1 to 100, and some you may not know about, but it's a great reference tool. I showed it to my wife, and she learned a few new things about her iPhone and iPad. So it's fascinating. She's probably more astute to it than I am, but this is a great book. I highly recommend it. We're gonna talk. We can't talk the whole book. It probably lasts 12 hours, right? To discuss everything. But so one of the most popular tricks from your book that you might want to highlight, so our listeners will definitely want to go pick up a copy or download a copy or order it from Amazon or whomever, right?
Yes. Well, I have the book on my site, which is iWorkshopAcademy.com, and I also it actually still has the holiday price, which is less than Amazon and Barnes &
Awesome.
Noble.
Okay. Again, let's mention that again to our listeners. Let's mention that again. It's iWorkshopAcademy.com. And they'll also get a report of the 15 essential apps they need on their phone for 2019. Wow.
Well, I come from New Orleans, and we have a concept called lanyap. So we always try to give something extra.
I love it. So lanyap is a very good word that I use a lot on my show. But a lot of those people up in the northern parts of the country don't know what that means. So yes, it's a little extra, and I'm glad you're giving them a little extra. And Gary is born and raised in North Louisiana, but has a lot of roots and a lot of friends down in South Louisiana as well.
Awesome. Well, anyway, here's a little-known iPhone, iPad trick that people love. And they'll be able to use it on a regular basis. For instance, everyone has gone through typing something in their phone, maybe an email, maybe a text, and they spend a lot of time and trouble to putting out the words and tapping, etc. All of a sudden, everything disappears.
Right.
And they don't, where did it go? And they start getting very frustrated. I have to type this all over again, and it's taken already 15 minutes. They don't realize that all they have to do is shake their phone. Simply shake their phone. If they shake their phone, it's a trick that's been around for years that people don't know, not even the younger folks. A little box will come up that says undo typing, and you just tap where it says undo, and your text returns.
Whoa.
So imagine being able to get back all the text that you thought you lost.
And that text could be in a text item or a document item, et cetera, anything?
Yes.
Anything. Okay.
Yes, just take your phone at any kind of Now, when it comes back, it's highlighted, so you don't want to lose it again. It's important to tap somewhere in the white area of your screen. But the bottom line is it's such a wonderful trick. That's one of the most popular ones, but turning your phone to a magnifying glass is extremely popular. It's like the old Swiss Army knife.
I've done that before.
Yeah, there's a new measuring tool that all you have to do is tap the app and point your phone after moving it around a little bit as it tells you to do. Point your phone at a rectangular painting, and it absolutely will pop those dimensions out for you. It'll change it to square feet. So, as you know, I've been caught many times, and many other people too, with losing a magnifying glass, or having to run out to the store to get a tape measure, which I've rebought many times in my life, or a level. I need a level all of a sudden. I'm hanging a painting. Now your iPhone can do all those things at the touch of a finger.
That is so powerful. That is so powerful. And again, a lot of us, you have to try it. That's why I like your documentation that lets us, to know about it, then use it. Then if you forget about it, you can go back to it and remember those particular items. So it's a matter of using it over and over again, right, Liz?
It really is, and also overcoming some of the frustration and reasons for not trying to learn something. Because I have to tell you, when I was a kid, I could not learn word problems. The teacher would say a train started from this station going this way, and I used to say, isn't there a train schedule for these people? But anyway, but the bottom line is, if you think about it, word problems I found out much later are a language in which you convert words into equations like pluses and minuses and things like that. People don't realize that this is a language too. And if you just have the key, like on a map or a Rosetta Stone, then you can really overcome this frustration. And nobody gave boomers and seniors the memo that,
Nope.
yeah, and here's another thing that I think is key. Since 11 years ago, when the iPhone came out, you got tablets, you've got smartphones. There's not enough room on the screen. So they changed everything to a language of symbols. When seniors realize that they have to learn symbols, and that's the only thing holding them back, it's like a revelation to them. They're like, nobody told us. See, we all went through the computer revolution, the personal computer, where we had to learn menus like file, print, click with the mouse. We're still looking for file, print, let's face it, and there is no such thing. It's called share now, and it's a symbol with a box and an arrow. If people are looking for a menu, there's nothing that says MENU. It's 3 lines on a phone. And so once they come to this language, right. But notice what it has done. It's isolated seniors and cut them off, and everybody's merrily tapping icons. And no one gave them, within 20 minutes, when they see what the symbols mean, they were up and running on their phones like never before.
I was talking to a researcher several weeks ago, and he said eventually everything is going to be so powerful that you don't even have to type anything. It's going to be, right now they have some of those programs that do that, but most of them, that's going to be way down the line. It's going to be either to point, touch, or talk to it, and it's like Siri. You're going to have a Siri there that's going to do everything for you, all the applications, etc. So, I've seen it already. We've seen it gradually, but it said it's going to, in the near future, it's going to be totally all that, right? That's what you see.
It really is.
Do you see that as well?
I do, and also it's not only going to be phone centered. If you've seen some of the TV shows, that it's all over the house,
right.
And you tap on the wall, you can see icons on a wall, you can tap. So it's going to be inside of your brain. If they put some kind of chips that they're talking about, it's going to be outside, all around you. It's going to be on your dashboard of your car. Of course, with the driverless cars, who knows?
Yeah.
You probably don't have to even worry about other drivers.
But the important thing is you were mentioning about the iPhone and its usage. I just was reading an article today about a cruise ship with Celebrity that's going to be extensively using technology, but mainly your iPhone. It will do everything from opening the door, ordering the menu. You have to carry it around with you all the time, but it's going to be your personal concierge and security person, and you name it. It's going to do everything for you. And the cruise ship's pretty smart. If you don't have one, they're going to let you check out one. They try one out. So I'm sure there'll be a sale afterwards regarding that particular iPhone.
Sounds wonderful.
So what other popular tricks from your book? You told us about the shaking the phone to get back that lost text.
Yes, and the fact that your phone being like the old time Swiss Army knife with the measuring tool, the level, and basically the magnifying glass. But I'd like to also talk about some of the other tricks, as you mentioned. Now, first of all, there's something called a flashlight, and everybody kind of, when I put on presentations, everyone knows almost how to access your flashlight.
But I have a problem. I don't know if it's my phone. It's hard to turn the stupid thing off sometimes. It doesn't know how to activate the bottom of that screen to pull it up. So I don't know if it's my finger, the way I'm doing, or the protective case I have around it. But sometimes it gets picky about me turning on that particular, those applications are at the bottom, whatever it's called.
Yes, and that you brought up a good point. Usually, I've noticed the perp is the case in many situations, because the key is if you have a phone that has a home button, and remember, the newer phones do not any longer have home buttons.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So you have to, if you have a newer phone, you have to swipe down from the upper right-hand side diagonally. Now, what it is called is the control center. Most people just call it where I get my flashlight.
Right, that's
it's
what
so
I call
funny.
it.
Right, and the funny thing is that they don't notice any of the other icons that are in there. And so here's a really popular trick that's brand new with this new operating system 12. Used to be that we would access the control center, and then we would tap the flashlight to turn it on. We would tap to turn it off. But if you hold down the flashlight, don't let go, a panel will pop up, and it will show you 3 segments. Right now they're gray, but if you tap on one of them, you'll get a low light. If you tap on the next one, it gets higher, and then if you get the next one, it goes even higher. So while everybody else at their restaurant tables have turned on their flashlight, and it's always at high beam, you can be the cool one that actually has a nice little low light. So that's a new change, not just turning it off and on, but selecting the modulation of the light. And it's really easy to do.
I just did it, Liz. You can be proud of me.
Oh,
and it works perfect. I hate to say this. Maybe I skimmed it in your book, but I didn't find it. But that is a great feature, because everybody's blinded by the light in the restaurant when they have their phones with their flashlights on them. Great idea.
Yes.
We need to.
But also you mentioned.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, I didn't want to let it go. Your question. Whether you have a case or not, if you have an older phone, like an 8, a 7, a 6, and you're having trouble accessing the control center, which once again is where your flashlight is, the problem may be that you are not swiping upwards from the frame. Now, as a kid, of course, I was told the color in the lines. A lot of people keep swiping up from their screen. They don't realize that you have to start lower.
Oh, you're right.
The black or the white frame.
Excellent. That's what my problem was. I was trying to get at the bottom of the visual screening. I didn't go all the way to the bottom. It works perfect now. Liz, you already solved my problem. I hope you solved about 10,000 people out there. We'll be right back with more information. But now a word from our sponsors and advertisers who make this radio show possible. You're listening to the Best of Times Radio Hour here on News Radio 710 Keel, proudly presented by A-Bears, Town & Country of Shreveport, your Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, and Jeep dealer.
Gary's got more of the Best of Times coming for you on 710 Keel. If you had 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, the place to get in-depth coverage of the stories that matter.
Hi, this is State Representative Alan Seabaugh. The best place to get the stories that matter is with Robert and Aaron each morning. I depend on them to get my day started.
We are Keel. 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Leaders from the local community, the state, and the nation. We have them all.
This is Deputy Chief Bill Gooden with your Shreveport Police Department, and it is always my privilege to have an opportunity to talk to Robert and Aaron in the morning. They do a tremendous job, and we appreciate their support.
We are Keel. 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Now, back to the Best of Times with your host, Gary Calligas.
Welcome back to our show, The Best of Times Radio Hour, proudly presented by A-Bears Town & Country of Shreveport, your Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, and Jeep dealer. I'm Gary Calligas, and I do thank you for listening to our show today. Joining me on my show as a special guest is Miss Liz Ryman, who is the author of 100-plus iPhone and iPad tricks that you can do use right now. And she's also the founder of the iWorkshop Academy. Thank you, Liz, again for joining us today here on the Best of Times Radio Hour.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Liz, I wanted to tell all my listeners out there, this is not television, this is radio, but you can visually do some of the tricks that Liz is telling us. Gary and my producer here, Ruben, has been doing these tricks. Of course, he's bound to have known all of these. He's a young person. My son, Liz, who, by the way, I showed a few days ago about my problem with me swiping from the bottom, says, "Oh, Dad, it's so easy," so he did it. But he didn't show me how he did it. So you just answered my question, and probably tens of thousands of people out there. Go lower than the screen, than the visual screen, whatever it's called. It works. I've been trying it.
Exactly right.
I've been trying it at break here, and it's been working every time. It missed a lick. So, and again, everybody, you hold down that little flashlight button, and you don't have to blind it by the lights from everybody that's reading their menu or reading the book or signaling their significant other to come. I mean, some of them don't even text; they'll signal like a flashlight, Liz. You ladies like to have that. You can see the light. Oh, that was the husband over there, or the boyfriend, whatever. Okay, let's get back. Let's get back to some of the. So her book is available from, and she just mentioned you don't have to get it from Amazon. You can get it directly from her website at www.iWorkshopAcademy.com. So again, that's www.workshopacademy.com. So again, in going through your book, I thought one of the ones that, let's talk about some of the safety features that the iPhone has to offer, because I know my seniors and boomers out there are always looking for safety features.
Yes, and, I often say that not only am I offering time-saving tricks, but Apple offers life-saving capabilities. For instance, there's something called Emergency SOS, and the way to access it, you don't even have to type a passcode or do anything. If you have an iPhone that's later than 7, you can hold down, iPhone 7 and later, you can hold down the volume button at the same time as the on-off side button. And if you don't let go for a minute or two, believe it or not, 911 will be dispatched to using your GPS to your location.
Wow.
So as long as you're not unconscious and you can at least press these buttons, you will be saved. And secondly, if you have some loved ones, you can set it up in advance so that they receive the message too if you're in trouble. And if you have a phone that's earlier, you just press on the on-off button 5 times in a row. So this can really save a life.
So
it can be your own.
But what happens? I'm just going to be the worst case scenario here. What happens if it's a false alarm or the person actually did that, holding both sides? It's holding both sides, if I recall, right? Holding the volume
definitely.
side and the other side to your phone, the two areas. So,
correct. Well, there are ways to cancel it. It'll actually come up and let you cancel it as it's going on.
Okay.
So it'll come up on the screen to cancel. So you don't have to worry about that, because sometimes kids play with it and there's been some false alarms. But just knowing that you can do it in a real situation is really important. And you can change the settings and add people by going to Settings and Emergency SOS. And also there's an app called Help that lets you go and add loved ones so that they can be contacted. And all that's outlined step by step in my book. And that's one of the most important tricks. And another is how to find your parked car when you forget. And I forget all the time. Where did I park? Especially places I go on a regular basis, like the same grocery store. I'm so busy thinking about everything else in the world I come out with the grocery bag and say, where did I park again? But it could be nighttime. It could be a dark parking lot. It could be a scary situation. So here's another safety feature that you can use. And all you have to do is change one setting in your settings app. And it will thereafter always mark your park location and give you directions via a walking route.
But that if I were to tell my listeners, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to leave the phone in the car, correct?
No, it's not at all. It knows when you come to a stop, and basically it remembers and it marks your park location. It involves the map app, which I must say is not Google Maps. It's Apple Maps. And a lot of people have both, so they get confused when they can't find it, what I'm telling them to do. Now, the only way that this feature works is if you have something called Bluetooth, which means that you can have conversations on the phone in your car without picking up your phone. But most people do have that now.
Correct.
Or they have CarPlay, which is an Apple system in their car. As long as you have anything past 2008 model car, I think 2009, people started adding this, the manufacturer started adding this, you should be fine. And you just have to adjust one setting, and that is, if you'd like me to tell you how to adjust it, you can start getting your parking space recorded right now.
Go ahead and give our listeners. I think they'll be touched by this one. I did not know about it until I read your book.
Yes, you simply tap settings, and you're going to have to scroll way, way down, so to get discouraged, and look for maps. And when you tap maps, you have to scroll way down again, and you'll see there's something that says show park location. Now, if it is green, that means it's turned on. It means it's been enabled, as we say. But if it's white, you have to manually drag the white circle to the right and make it green. Once that happens, at that point, you're done. But the question is how to activate this next time you go to a shopping mall. Simply drive to the mall, park, go shopping, and when you come out, you will get on your home screen with all the icons, and you will find the map icon. You may have to move a couple of screens and swipe to the left till you see it. When you tap map, you will see at the bottom it says park location. So you tap that, and then it will say direction. So you tap that, and one more tap, you tap go. And it will show you a walking route based on the GPS directly near or to your car.
So
then you never have to do anything else.
So, but one more question. I'm sure my listeners are saying your connection to your Bluetooth of your car's Bluetooth. Does your car have to be on?
No, nothing has to be on. What happens is you've driven to the mall, and the Bluetooth was already on before hands-free calling. But I do have to mention, if you wear hearing aids, many times you cannot utilize the Bluetooth of hands-free calling in your car because your hearing aid is connected via Bluetooth. So that might be a reason you'd either have to turn off your hearing aids in order to get the Bluetooth, and of course, that's an exceptional situation. Most of us are able to use the hands-free, and as long as you talk on the phone in that manner, the Bluetooth is on. You don't have to be in your car later.
Well, that's a great feature. But guess what? So that's why mine didn't work. I didn't know that. I have hearing aids that are very sophisticated, Starkey ones that do connect, and I tried based upon your book, and I couldn't get it to work. So it did know my location because of that Bluetooth being primarily connected to my hearing aids for me to do wireless, whatever it is, telephone via my hearing aids. Oh, okay. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yes.
Glad you mentioned that exception to the rule here. But that's a great feature, everyone, especially when you're in a big mall and you're a big complex and you want to find your phone and you don't remember if it was, LJ or whatever section. It would be a great lifesaver as well. mentioned something I thought was very interesting is iPhone users can actually read articles of interest without even being connected to the internet. Explain to that our listeners. I thought that was fascinating in your book.
That's actually one of my favorite tricks, besides shaking the phone, of course. Well, first of all, some of us use Chrome, a different browser, but this is about Safari. This works only in Safari. There's two wonderful Safari tricks that are related. The one you mentioned was you can save articles to read later offline. And this is how it works. A friend may send you an article, and you tap the link, although later maybe we'll discuss certain safety features that you shouldn't just be tapping links indiscriminately that you get in email. But if it's someone you know, and it's also, there's nothing weird about the email, and the person, you know it's that person, and you tap the link, you will go to an article. Or if you tap the Safari app, you could type in a news station. You could type in NewYorker.com. And when you land in that website, you could peruse all the different headlines, and then you tap a specific headline, it takes you to the article. Now, and I don't know if you've had this issue, but in my day, we basically had stacked the magazines in the closet because
I still do.
Right. And, it used to be like, we'll get to those magazines one day. And, of course, now the kids call it 4 days. But it was pretty normal back in my day to have stacks of magazines. So the key is that in this situation, you can get to the article because you're going to just hit 2 taps and save your article for later reading. So what you do is you've got the article in front of you. You're going to hit what I call the most important symbol that everyone should know, and that is called the share icon. It's usually at the upper right on an iPhone. It may be at the bottom on an iPad, but it looks like a box with an arrow pointing up. Once again, it's a symbol, and when you tap it, it allows you to take that article and email it or text it or turn it into a PDF, by the way, which we can talk about. But another feature, I have to mention, guess what's in this menu? Print. People are shocked that they can print from their iPhone, and it doesn't show in the first few icons. You have to scroll or swipe to the left, and buried in this share menu is the ability to print the article. And a lot of people don't know that. And I think that people are still looking for file print. They don't realize that if you're going to talk mathematically, file now equals share, that share icon. So you can see how important that icon
That is a very important icon. I forget about it a lot of times when I'm thinking about things, but the more you use it, the more you try it. Again, I know about the print, but I want to mention to my listeners that's one way, and you have to set up a printer, but it's real easy to set it up to print from your phone or your iPad. It's very easy.
Very easy. Once you join your own network, your wireless network, you can print from the 3rd floor if you want, usually, or any place, or someone else's network. But getting back to this trick, as you said, we have an article on the screen. We tap the all-important share icon or symbol, and we look for a little icon that says Add to Reading List. It looks like you have glasses. It's got little glasses, and it says Add to Reading List. If it's not in the first group, you just keep swiping, but it should be right there. Once you do that, you are returned to your screen. You actually may get a message that says save automatically to your device, and you should say yes, because this enables you to read it like when you're on a plane and you're not on Wi-Fi, for instance. So the next question is, somehow you have been reading, you've actually moved this article to the reading list, but where the heck is this reading list when you're ready to access your article? Well, it's actually in another icon that looks like a book. It's called a bookmark icon. So let's say many weeks later you're ready to sit down and read the articles. You would tap Safari, you would tap the bookmark, and you would look. There's 3 columns that come up, and one of them has glasses that's in the middle. When you tap that, all the articles you've added are there, and they are on your device, And believe me, they don't take up much room at all. The things that take up room are videos or pictures people send you in text or lots of photographs. But these little articles do not take up room. And when you're finished the article, if they're in a list format, you could just swipe to the left and you'll get a delete button that you tap.
Wow, that is remarkable. And by the way, that's on that's one of her tricks in her book. I think it's number 55. So that's that is a remarkable trick that I have actually not used this, but I'm planning to do so. It's a really time saver, and sometimes you're in places where you don't have good access to the internet, and reading it offline and getting it and then taking it and reading it later is you can do anywhere where you don't have internet Wi-Fi connection. Is that right?
That's exactly true, because it's been saved to your phone.
That is
so
really...
it's actually on your phone.
Well, hold that thought.
I'm so excited.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back with more information. But now, word from our sponsors and advertisers who make this radio show possible. You'll listen to the Best of Times Radio Hour here on News Radio 710 Keel, proudly presented by A-Bears, 10 and Country of Shreveport, your Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, and Jeep dealer.
Gary's got more of the Best of Times coming for you on 710 Keel.
A company is only as good as its people, and at Jack Spring Electric, they have a collection of the best. Jack Spring Electric is humbled every day by the excellence of their team. They will always work hard to provide exactly what their customer needs, whether an industrial plant, a commercial storefront, or your residence. If you want the job done right, within budget, on time, by a dedicated team player, Jack Spring Electric is the electrical contractor for you. Jack Spring Electric, 865-6225, or online at jackspringelectric.com.
When your car brakes sound like this, get more at Moore's. Moore's Tire and Service Centers, offering brake service, AC repair, oil changes, tires, rotations, and more. Moore's Tire and Service Centers does everything for your vehicle. Visit Moore'sTireandServiceCenters.com and see what Moore's can do for you.
And now, an ad from Dad.
All right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Can I take these off? All right. What is this? This looks good. Wow. That's well. Where did you get this? I'm talking to you with the hair. Yeah, where did you get this? It's good stuff. That's solid. That's not veneer. That's solid stuff.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Hey there, neighbor. What'll it be?
It'll be fast, with flavors on point.
Hey, good to see you again. What'll it be today?
It'll be friendly, because around here, you're part of the family.
Back again, huh? What'll it be?
It'll be delicious. After all, that's really why you keep coming back.
Johnny's Catfish and Seafood. World-class food from our family to yours. Visit johnnyscatfish.com. We'd love to meet you. Just ask for a Covington.
Announcing the 2019 LAB Broadcast Scholarship Program. 2 $2,000 scholarships are available to Louisiana broadcasting students. Call 1-800-364-7260 or go to www.broadcasters.org to apply. Hurry! The deadline for entry is February 1st, 2019. The Louisiana Association of Broadcasters Scholarship Program. Good for you, good for us, great for Louisiana.
Now, back to the Best of Times with your host, Gary Calligas.
Welcome back to our show, the Best of Times Radio Hour, proudly presented by A-Bears, 10 and Country of Shreveport, your Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, and Jeep dealer. I'm Gary Calligas, and thank you for listening to our show today. Joining me on my show is Miss Liz Wyman, who is the author of a remarkable book to help you and me, and definitely has helped me, the 100-plus iPhone and iPad tricks that you can use and do right now, and it's been impressive. She shared a few of these tricks with us today. Hope they have helped everyone out there, but definitely pick up a copy of her book. It's very fascinating, and you'll definitely learn of 100. I would say at least, Liz, would you say at least 50 of them can be implemented quite quickly?
Yes, that's true. In fact, I encourage people, if they all have these New Year's resolutions, how about doing a trick a day, and by the end of a certain amount of weeks, you'll really become very comfortable and confident with your device, then you could even be considered a power user.
Wow, power user. I like to hear that word. So the other thing we might want to suggest to our listeners and my seniors and boomers out there in the Arklatex is you might want to get together and bring your iPhones and share those techniques and learning that you learned from Liz's book, and everybody can practice. And if somebody doesn't understand it, sometimes you don't understand I hate to say the logic, the writing, but you've written in a very good manner. But trying it and doing it, just like I did a couple of seconds ago, to make sure I remember how to do some of these is important. So again, how do you teach older Americans how to use iPhones? I mean,
being part of the generation of boomers and seniors, I've actually been called sometimes a senior whisperer because I really understand where they're coming from, what the view is for all the years, and how technology has changed so quickly. And as once I said again, they didn't get the memo. The way I teach is basically to start at the very, very basics and explain to them what has happened in our society, in our modern society, and the things that are keeping them from using their full capabilities with the phone. But a lot of it is emotional attitude and sometimes the fact that their families don't understand where they're coming from. And so it's really important to address many of these issues. But I still feel like the way in my book that I presented it is step by step with context added. For instance, my book has a glossary in the back. You can always look up what an app is, what these terms are. But I don't clutter the tricks up with all that information. There is a lot of explanation along with the step-by-step, but it's in the context of the trick, so people can just learn about a feature, one trick at a time.
And let me mention, you also have three or four appendices that discuss passcode and the Touch ID, which Apple gives you a little bit education, but yours is very didactic, and I was impressed. And that was very fascinating. That I learned a lot, but just by looking at that. And then you have what we call it a one-page cheat sheet about iPhone shortcuts. Wow, and some of them are quite very good.
I really like that cheat sheet because what it is we have two sets of phones now. One with a home button, in which many tricks are going to tell you hit the home button, and others without one. So that cheat sheet tells you if you have the newer phone, these are the sequence of buttons to take screenshots, for instance, are different on both of the models. So that's a great way of making sure people. And I'm probably going to, in the next version, add a cheat sheet of symbols, too, because, once again, very important to have a Rosetta Stone of all the symbols out there.
True. That's a great idea. So, again, what apps would you recommend for our mature audience out there to get on their phone? I've heard a lot of...
The most important one is called Find My iPhone.
Okay.
And a lot of people probably already have it set up, but many people don't. And if you lose your phone, you can actually look up where you probably lost it. And what's really interesting is people always ask me, okay, so if you lose your phone, you don't have a phone. So how can you find your phone? Because you don't have that app on your phone because it's gone. So what I explain to them is, first of all, if they have any other device, like an iPad or a computer, laptop of any kind, they can access findmyiphone.com. So they can actually put in their name and password, and it will show them where their device last was. Secondly, if you're out in the mall or something with friends and you say, oh my God, I lost my phone, this is how you find out if someone's your friend or not, because you say, if they have an iPhone, you say, can I use your phone for a second? And you can sign out, because right now they're probably signed in as themselves, but you just tap a button, an icon there, a menu, so to speak, and sign them out and put in your own information, and the location of your iPhone will appear. Plus, there's one fabulous feature, which is, what if the battery dies?
Yep.
Well, you can program it that, like a dying swan, so to speak, but when it's dying, it'll send out one last location.
Wow.
And so at least you know where it died. So it really helps. So it really helps you.
I like that. One last beat to where I'm at. My battery's going. That's pretty impressive. Well, thank you, Liz, for joining us today. Wow, again, your book, 100 plus iPhone and iPad tricks, is remarkable. Listeners out there can pick it up by going to her website at www.iworkshopacademy.com. And thank you again for giving our listeners a little snippet and a little lanyard about some of the tricks that are found in your book. It was fascinating, and good luck to you. And I know you're going to have a record sales on this particular, definitely helpful book for both seniors and boomers throughout the world.
Thank you so much, Gary. Wonderful speaking with you and your audience.
Thank you. We'll be right back with more information, but now a word from our sponsors and advertisers who make this radio show possible. You're listening to the Best of Times Radio Hour here on News Radio 710 Keel, proudly presented by A-Bears, Town & Country of Shreveport, your Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, and Jeep dealer.